All right. So I'm out here today, and I have a regular Toro self-propelled lawnmower. It has the Briggs and Stratton 6.75, I believe, on it. Self-propelled, has the auto choke and all that stuff on it. And the problem she's having, she says, when it starts up and everything, and she mows for 10 or 15 minutes, but she takes very frequent breaks, right? But as soon as she shuts it off, comes back out to start it up, and it won't start. So she waits till the next day to finish off her job. It's like, well, what's going on is, with the automatic choke and everything, of course, when you crank up the engine, the flywheel blades, it'll open up the choke, and then of course when the engine gets hot, it'll open the choke and stay open, right? So that's the problem. When she comes back out and tries to start it up with the engine hot, the choke is open and it won't start. So the the problem is the engine's having trouble starting without the choke on, regardless if it's hot or cold, right? So I'm going to take out the carburetor and clean it out and make sure there's no blockage or anything that's keeping, because it sounds like if as long as you have the choke on, it's gonna crank up, right? There's not enough fuel getting up there when the choke is open. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll take a look at the carburetor. I mean, it could be the fuel line, it could the whole, look at the whole delivery system, fuel delivery system on it. But I'm, 99% sure it's just a carburetor that needs to be cleaned out. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll take a look at it and see what shape it's in, and we'll go from there. So, before we get started, remember to check out our website, hotshotpowerequipment.com. You can check out our products, including the lawnmower blade balancers and the oil drain tubes, and some pretty cool shirts there too. So, let's get started. It's dirty, but it doesn't smell bad. Yeah, so let's take this whole thing off, and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, so here's the choke. You see this where it has that little flap on it? So there's a flap in here, and when the flywheel starts to rotate quick and generates the air, it pushes on this flap, and you can see the choke is opening. And on top of that, on this side by the muffler, it's almost like a little thermostat, and it catches the end of that flap here, and as the engine heats up, it moves over and opens the choke. So when you very first start the engine, it's the air that's opening the choke, and the faster the air, of course, then the more it opens, and then as the engine heats up, it keeps it open. So that's the way the choke works. So I'm going to take all this off, and we'll see how dirty this carburetor is in it. It's probably not going to be that bad since it does start, but we need a little freer flow, and I'll even check the spark plug and make sure that we're getting a good spark. So there's the carburetor. It does need a little cleaning, but I think most of the culprit here is the old gas, keeping it from running good. So I'm going to clean the carburetor, and I'll probably just go ahead and drain the rest of the gas that's in the tank. And basically a tune-up. I will check the spark plug and the oil, but that's the deal. And don't forget this. This is the plug that was underneath here. That's always a big culprit. You gotta make sure that's that hole, and you see the feed holes through here. Gotta make sure those are all clean and unclogged. But a lot of times, that's the culprit. So All right, it's all back together. It needed a spark plug. Just clean the carb. I drained the gas out. I'm just going to put some fresh gas in it and crank her up. That should do it. Just a basic tune-up. And the oil was good, so well, let's crank it up. All right, so I'm one-handed here. Let me see if I can hold this camera. Let's give it a yank. First pull. Cranking up first pull. See what it does as the engine heats up. Let's try it again. Well, I think that did it. So that'll do it. If you're having the same problems, if you run your mower for 10 or 15 minutes and or ever how long, but after you stop, you can't get it started again until it cools off. Well, that's the problem. It just really needs a tune-up, right? In this case, it was just cleaning out the carburetor. I put a new air filter and a new spark plug in it, and the gas was good. So now it's cranking up, whether it's hot or cold, right? When before, your mower can't start unless the choke is on, regardless if it's hot or cold. Well, with the automatic chokes, well, that's what you run into. So, well, that's it. So, short and sweet, but as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch my next video.